Good evening to all and welcome to the session, the Hindu Editorial Analysis for Proficiency in English. Today's editorial is all about farmers' agitation, and we'll start the session with editorial vocabulary. There are about 20 words, but many words are quite familiar, should not be that difficult to follow. What is the first word here? And instead of listening passively, listen to the word, and whatever you know, you try to do value addition. Could be synonyms, antonyms, related words, word forms, anything. What is the first word here? Consensus, part of speech, noun. A general agreement. What is the meaning? A general agreement. And when there are a lot of people or members, they all agree on one thing, we use another word. What is that word? Unanimous. Unanimous, consensus, accord, concord. Okay, harmony, agreement, unity, unanimous. Very good. I appreciate that. Grievances, we have got many a time. What does it mean? Part of speech, noun. A real or imagined cause for complaint, especially unfair treatment. You complain because somewhere you feel you have been treated unfairly. That could be real, that could be imagined. And we have got this many a time. And if you go to the, this goes with more with employees, grievances of the employees. If you go to big companies, corporate companies, they have a separate cell, grievances cell. The next word, waiver. Waiver, part of speech, noun. But the phrasal verb, generally it is a verb used as a phrasal verb also. Waive off, the act of intentionally relinquishing or abandoning a known right, claim, or privilege. Here, money and also interest. Imagine I have to pay someone some amount. I'm not in a position to pay the full amount with interest. I may request that person to waive off the interest. Means he should not consider the interest part. He has to take only the principal amount. This also goes with students. A lot of Indian students go to the US, and based on the merit, sometimes the university may waive off the course fee. Imagine the student has to pay 15,000 US dollars. The university may say, okay, you don't have to pay 15,000, pay only 7,500. I cannot use that symbol. US dollars. Waive off, yes, that's right. Call off, an easy one. Many of you know this. Call off, part of speech, phrasal verb, to cancel. It goes with strike, match. The match has been called off due to heavy rain. Fifth one, spearhead, an important word. And spearhead can be a noun, can be a verb. As a noun, the tip of the spear, we say spearhead. But here it has been used as a verb. Lead, an attack or a movement. More than attack, a movement, a protest. Spearhead the agitation, spearhead the protest. Combinations I'm giving. Splinter, usually splinter is a noun. What is the meaning of that? A small, sharp, broken piece of wood, glass, plastic, or similar material. Small piece of something, but here it has been used as an adjective. When we say splinter group, a small group that has come out from a particular body. Fissure, singular, fissures, plural. Part of speech, noun, a deep, narrow crack. Crack usually goes with a structure, but person also we can say he's a crack, eccentric. And today's match has been called off due to downpour. Very good. A deep, narrow crack. Here, difference of opinion, dispute, bone of contention, apple of discord. Fissure, an important word. Acquire, part of speech verb, noun form acquisition, to come into possession or ownership or control of. You get something, then you say, I acquired something, something. Acquire property, acquire some rights, acquire knowledge. These are the combinations you have to remember. Repeal, we have got so many times, part of speech, a verb. To state officially that a law, a rule, etc., no longer has legal force. To make something, here you have to recollect, null and void, or to make something invalid, a repeal. It's a legal term we have got many a time. I'm sure you all know the meaning of that word. A resolute, resolve, resolution, a resolute. Resolute, part of speech, adjective, marked by firm determination. You are firm in your determination, a resolute stand, firm belief, firm determination. Siege, also, we have got many a time, part of speech verb, a military operation in which enemy forces surround a town or building, cutting off essential services, whatever it is. But in this context, it goes with farmers. Usually, it goes with military operation. In this context of the editorial, farmers. Procure, we have got many a time. Part of speech verb, procurement, noun form to get possession of. Then already we have got the word acquire. Here, procure. English is a combinational language. There's something called word usage. Acquire goes with different combinations, like property, like rights, like knowledge. But procure goes more with the material. And if you go to big companies, you have a procurement department, purchase department, procurement department, and there we use the word procure. Usage is very important. Bedrock, I don't remember, but sounds familiar. We must have got an important word. Part of speech noun. The principles and ideas on which something is based. Something is based on principles and ideas. We call that one the foundation, bedrock of something. Surplus, a simple word I'm sure you all know. Part of speech adjective, an amount of something left over when requirements have been met. In a simple way, you can remember the word excess. An excess of production or supply, surplus. Bypass can be a noun, can be not a noun, can be an adjective or a verb. When we say bypass road, there it is an adjective. But here bypass is a verb. To avoid something by going around it. You avoid something, you bypass that. Mammoth, colossal, gigantic, huge, all these you can think of. Subsistence, an important word. We have got a few times. Part of speech adjective. It goes with lifestyle, agriculture, farming, the state of having what you need in order to stay alive, but no more. You can make the ends meet. Beyond that, you cannot earn. Then we say subsistence, living, or lifestyle. You can also use excess, plethora, surfeit. Very good. Unsustainable. We have got the word sustainable many a time. Sustainable practices. But sustainable has two different meanings. One meaning, when we talk about environment, we use the word sustainability, sustainable goals, sustainable practices. What does it mean? To use the resources in a wise manner. You use resources in such a way that the next generation also can use the resources, sustainable practices. But in this context, sustainable means hold something, maintain something, and it usually goes with standards, quality, interest. I could not sustain the interest of the students for more than 10 minutes. Beyond that, I could not hold it. Not able to be maintained at the current rate or level. Penury, an important word, part of speech noun, the state of being very poor, extreme poverty. And here you have to recollect one important word. What is it? Destitute. Person destitute. Noun form, destitution. A revamp, we have got many a time, part of speech verb. To make like new again. Penury, poverty, impoverished, destitute, poor. Very good, I appreciate. All the students who have been responding, wonderful. Mercy, a simple word, part of speech noun, compassion or forgiveness shown towards someone whom it is within one's power to punish or harm. Simply, show mercy means what? Be kind, compassion, or forgiveness. An important word, but familiar word. That's all about the vocabulary. Now, the question, what is this editorial about? This editorial is about the ongoing farmers' protest in India. Ongoing farmers' protests, specifically focusing on the demands of farmers from Punjab and other regions. As I said, today's editorial is all about farmers' agitation. What is the tone of the editorial? The tone of the editorial appears to be analytical and critical. Two important words: analytical, critical. How does it start? Forming consensus on the government and the farmers on protest related to the consensus between the government and the farmers on protest. But what is the main idea of this editorial? The center must address grievances of farmers through talks. The center must address, here address means deal with grievances of farmers through talks. Here, there's one helping verb we have got many a time. It has two functions. Farmers, you have to farmers, but position after the letter S apostrophe. That will come across after some time. Here, must, one function, it is used to express a personal obligation or impose a personal obligation, impose obligation by the speaker. And the second one, to convey the idea something is compulsory. The center must, here the writer's obligation imposed by the writer or the editorial. The center must address grievances of farmers through talks. So, what is a prerequisite to find a solution to farmers' problems? Talks, that is the first step. The main idea is that, let us see how it starts. Farmers from Punjab in their thousands. This expression is important and you have to remember. Why is it important? Generally, we say in hundreds, in thousands, in lakhs. We also say hundreds of students, thousands of students. But for the first time, I have seen this a standard phrase. What is it? In their thousands. They've used a possessive pronoun. Their thousands, in their thousands. Remember this. You may get in the exam, then don't think something is wrong with it. Nothing wrong with that. In their thousands, have assembled, present perfect, at 3 points along the border with Haryana, where they have been stopped from marching to Delhi. Here, what happens, the context is about protest. Whenever there's a problem, people try to protest. Then, what is the word map? What are the words you have to recollect? One is obviously protest. When people protest, they take to streets and they take out a procession. While taking out a procession, they hold cards, written something on that. What is the word for that? Placards. I hope I'm not blocking. Protest, procession, placards, and they shout. They say someone down, down, or they demand whatever they want. What is the word? Slogans. And also march. They go in a particular direction towards a particular building. We use the word march. Here, march is a verb. You can also think of so many words. For example, resentment, unhappy. You can think of words like crowd, mob, crowd, mob, and something goes wrong, then chaos. It results in chaos. Some protesters usually, but related word I appreciate, lynching. You can think so many words are there. What does the sentence say? Farmers from Punjab in their thousands, means thousands of farmers, have assembled at 3 points along the border with Haryana where they have been stopped. Here it is in present perfect active voice. Here it is in present perfect tense passive voice. Someone has stopped them. They have been stopped from marching to Delhi. Have been stopped. Present perfect. You can also think of arrest, handcuff, all these. The protesters, in this context, the farmers, the protesters are demanding legally guaranteed MSP for crops. Now, what are the demands? Any editorial like this related to protest, what could be the broad framework? The editorial may touch the problems or the demands and the background information they protested to 2021, 2022, earlier protests, and that time they called off. What could be the reason? Now, this time, same demands or new demands, then whether the demands can be justified or cannot be justified, what is the response of the government, and whether the government is going in the right direction or not, and editorial at the fag end may take a stand, what has to be done, the opinion or advice. There's a broad framework. Coming to based on that framework, here the editorial presents us the demands of the farmers. The protesters are demanding legally guaranteed MSP for crops, first demand. Debt waiver, second demand. Cancellation of international agreements impacting the agriculture sector, third demand. And a minimum pension of 5,000 for farmers and agriculture labor, fourth demand. So, how many demands? Four. What are the four? One is legally guaranteed MSP for crops, debt waiver, cancellation of international agreements that impacting the agriculture sector, and a minimum pension of 5,000 for farmers and agriculture labor. Some of these demands were raised during, as I said, the editorial touches the background information and earlier protest. This sentence is about that. Some of these demands were raised during the earlier protest in 2021 2022, which was called off. That time the protest was called off, cancelled, after the BJP led central government withdrew three controversial laws that had sought to reform the agriculture sector. That time, why did they go on strike or why did they protest? Three laws. The center announced the three controversial laws. Based on that, they had to protest. And that time, it was called off because the BJP led central government withdrew three controversial laws. And what do the laws deal with? They had sought to reform the agriculture sector. Had sought. It happened first, so past perfect tense. Here, past perfect. Seek, sought, had sought to reform the agriculture sector. Good intention, but backfired. The protest now is spearheaded by, now who is leading the present protest? The protest now is spearheaded by SKM non-political. What do the letters stand for? We'll come to know after some time. The SKM non-political, it is not a political organization, non-political, a splinter group, a small group that came out of the major body, of the body that had led the earliest protest. Earlier protest was led by a particular body, that means a particular organization or a particular group, and one particular small group came out of that. That is known as splinter group, a small group of the body that had led. Again, the first action we have to use past perfect. Here you got to look at the sentences very carefully. Past perfect. What is the use of past perfect tense? When there are two actions that happened in the past, one after the other. For the first action we use past perfect, for the second action we use past tense. The split, here what does it mean? One particular organization, a group of people came out, that is known as a splinter group, and they started. That means there was a split. And what could be the reason behind the split? This sentence talks about that. The split signifies fissures, disagreement in the interest groups across Haryana, Punjab, and Western UP and Rajasthan. They had differences of opinion. Certain things, perhaps there was it was not unanimous, no consensus. They came out of that body. There are at least, besides this splinter group, SKM, which is non-political. There are at least three other strands of protests gathering strength. Besides this, there are other three strands. Here, strands means again groups of protests gathering strength. Slowly, they are becoming strong. Farmers in now the editorial touches in each area what is the main reason, what is a problem. Farmers in Western UP affected. Here, this is an important word you guys know. We have got many a time. Excuse me. Answer my question. Affect is a verb or a noun? Affect is a verb, and you have to recollect effect. Effect is what? It can be a verb, it can be a noun. As a verb, it is very formal, rarely used. It is more of a literary expression. But when it comes to usage, we use effect as a noun. And effect, obviously, it's a regular verb. What is a regular verb? A regular verb is one that takes D or ED. Affect, affected, affected. That you have to recollect. Farmers in Western UP affected by the Jewar Airport project and Yamuna Expressway are up in arms. Up in arms means protesting, angry, aggressive, and they're trying angry. Exactly. Who is that? Divya. Up in arms, idiom, angry, protesting vigorously. Wonderful. I appreciate that. Up in arms. Now, coming to Haryana, as I said, there are four areas. Editorial tells us in each area what exactly is the problem. In Haryana's Sonipat, farmers are protesting land acquisition. Acquire a verb, acquisition noun for power cables. So in Haryana, what happened? The government must have acquired the land to lay power cables. Based on that, obviously the farmers are furious or angry or it has become a problem. The original SKM and several trade unions have called for a national, rural, and industrial strike on February 16th. They started the protest, they started the agitation. Now they have given a call for the original SKM and several trade unions have called for. They have called for demands. You can one meaning you can think of, and here again present perfect tense. A national, rural, and industrial strike on February 16th, with overlapping and additional demands that include the repeal of four labor codes. Now it's a new dimension. What is a new dimension? The SKM and several trade unions have called for a national, rural, and industrial strike on Feb 16th. And now they are demanding with overlapping demands. Some demands are overlapping. At the same time, additional demands that include a repeal of making something null and void, repeal of four labor codes. That's a new demand. The government has opened talks with the Punjab farmers. Now, what is the response of the government? The government has opened talks with the Punjab farmers, but a legal guarantee of MSP appears unlikely. A legal guarantee of MSP appears unlikely. What does it mean? The chances for a legal guarantee of MSP, the chances are not bright, the chances are bleak. Unlikely means what? Less chances to happen. For that, we also say bleak. The police in Haryana and Delhi have stopped the farmers more than 200 kilometers away from Delhi as they are resolute that the farmers will not be allowed near the border of the national capital where they had laid siege in 2021-2022. There's one important word siege to surround, but usually it goes with military, soldiers, and in this context, the farmers. Earlier protest, what happened? There was a major problem, and farmers protested for many months, days and months, and they sieged the national capital area and a lot of people had to face problems. This time, the government does not want anything like that to happen, and the police are very firm, resolute, not allowing the farmers to reach the national capital region. Because of that, the police in Haryana and Delhi have stopped the farmers more than 200 kilometers away from Delhi as a resolute that the farmers will not be allowed We will not allow the farmers, future tense active voice. The farmers will not be allowed, future tense passive voice. Which tense is this? Future tense passive voice. Near the border of the national capital, where they had laid siege. Here, an important word. Many a time we have got, still I would like to repeat because after learning also not easy. If you take the word lie, it can be a noun, and lie can be a regular verb. As a regular verb, lie, lied, lied. Lie can also be an irregular verb. As an irregular verb, lie, lay, lain. But here, past form of lie is lay, and the meaning to be in the horizontal position while relaxing, one meaning. The second meaning to be in a particular state for a long time. But here we have another verb that adds to more confusion. Lay, laid, laid. And here it has, this one has been used. Had laid, past had laid, past participle form. It is in past perfect tense. First action, past perfect. And what does it mean? Lay, laid, laid. To put something down. It goes with eggs. Birds lay eggs. We take a baby, put somewhere, laid the baby on the table. And things, anything for that matter. But most important combinations you have to remember from the exam point of view: lay the foundation stone, lay the rules and regulations, lay the roads, and here had laid siege, a new combination. You have to remember an important pattern. All these you have to recollect. Some students have written, I appreciate those students. The MSP based procurement by the FCI has been the bedrock of food security. Food security. Now he talks about this, the major issue, MSP based procurement, legal requirement, one of the demands. The MSP based procurement by the Food Corporation of India has been present perfect active voice, the bedrock, the foundation of food security, but the case for its reform is strong. See, in this sentence, the writer wants to convey two things. One is positive, the other one is negative. What is positive here? The MSP based procurement by the Food Corporation of India has been the bedrock of food security. That is something positive. But contrasting word, contrasting information, the case for its reform, there is a case, there is a situation where something has to be reformed, but the case for its reform is strong. At the same time, it has to be reformed looking at the present scenario. That is negative. Surplus, now, why should it be reformed? Whenever writers write something, they try to justify by giving examples. Here it says, the writer or the editorial says, the MSP based procurement by the Food Corporation of India has been the bedrock of food security, but the case for its reform is strong. Why is it strong when it comes to there's a need for the reform? Justification: surplus producers of grain have benefited from the MSP scheme, but the scheme bypasses subsistence farmers in poorer regions. This talks about uneven benefits. Benefits. On the one hand, surplus producers of grain have benefited, that is positive, from the MSP scheme. But on the other hand, the scheme bypasses, in a way, ignores subsistence farmers, those who are at the low level, they cannot produce a lot, only meager amount they produce or meager produce in poorer regions. So this is not even, this is uneven. Based on that, scope for reform. As I use the word uneven, this uneven geographical spread of procurement has also led present. See, so many times we get present perfect tense, active voice. This uneven, lopsided, uneven, you have to think of one. When we talk about development, we say lopsided development. Today we talk about Hyderabad. I'm doing this from Hyderabad. Hyderabad, phenomenal development, mind blowing. In fact, usually when we talk about directions, we say there are four directions. What are the four directions? North, south, east, west. We say the city is developing in all the four directions. But when it comes to Hyderabad, we say the city is developing in eight directions. Here you can draw four more lines. Eight directions, it means it is developing in a phenomenal manner, mind blowing manner. But unfortunately, certain pockets, very good development. And if you come to this city, if you go to the IT hub, you wonder whether you are in India or in some foreign country. That is one thing. At the same time, certain pockets, certain neighborhoods, very backward. Because the development is not even, we say Hyderabad is growing by leaps and bounds. There's one expression you have to know: leaps and bounds means rapidly in all the directions. But you're also there. Good, Tarun. Hyderabad is developing by leaps and bounds, but that development is lopsided. Means what? Uneven. This uneven geographical spread of procurement has also led to unsustainable farm practices, noun, SE, verb, CE, noun. Unsustainable, cannot be maintained for a long time, and also not proper way. Unsustainable farm practices in some areas, while farmers in other regions of the country are always on the edge of penury. An important expression we have got for the first time: on the edge of. On the edge of what? Penury. Penury means what? Extreme poverty, destitution, facing a lot of hardships, or languishing. You have to recollect the word languish. Languish. They have been languishing in poverty. Means to be in a particular negative situation for a long time. It languish goes with problems, hardships, poverty, penury, destitution, suffer a lot in a being in a particular wrong negative situation. All this calls for this situation where the benefits are not even. So those who produce surplus, they are getting the benefits. Though the subsistence farmers are not getting the benefits. Looking at the present scenario, the editorial says, stand taken by the editorial, all this calls for, means what? All this demands a revamping of the public support for farming. Revamp, recreate, give a new shape. And this we have got many a time. The public support for farming, which is essential, indispensable for reasons that include national food security. Because it is related to national food security, essential for reasons that include, reasons are essential, and those reasons include national food security. This, how to achieve this? It talks about revamping public support for farming, but how to achieve that? The answer from the editorial: this can be achieved. It is we have a helping verb here. It is in passive voice. We can achieve something. Something can be achieved by us. You can achieve success. Success can be achieved. Very a good example, I suppose. This can be achieved better through wide political consultation. So the opinion of the editorial opines this can be achieved through wide political consultation, one dimension, and by encouraging the beneficiaries, some of the farmers of the current system, to diversify production, diversify, come up with different things, and increase productivity, taking up new crops and different crops, going for crop rotation, all these things. How does the editorial end? The political undertones of the protest, something that is implied, something not quite visible undertone. The political undertones, the shades of politics, and whatever goes with politics, the political undertones of the protest on the eve of, generally, an important event. We give a speech. We start with, after wishing, we say, on the eve of the new year, on the eve of the Independence Day, on the eve of the Republic Day, means on the occasion of, an important expression you have to remember, on the eve of the Lok Sabha election. Elections are fast approaching. Based on that political undertones, possibility also cannot be overlooked. Cannot be overlooked. We cannot overlook something, active voice. Something cannot be overlooked, passive voice. That means what? Cannot be ignored. The farm sector needs a new model of public support. The farm sector, subject, and the sentence is in present tense, affirmative. Subject is third person singular. We should add S or ES to the verb. The farm sector needs a new model of public support. It cannot be left to the mercy of the market. Again, we cannot leave it to the mercy of the market, active voice. It cannot be left to the mercy of the market. It should not depend on the mercy of the market. The government should. Again, we have an important helping verb. What is a function? It has two functions. One function, it is used to advise or suggest to someone. This is like advice from the editorial. And the second function, it is used to express a possibility, but the chances are less. The government should lead the efforts to create a national consensus. Main idea is being reiterated on this question. National consensus is required. It ends on that particular note. Leniency, mercy. Pandu, leniency has a different connotation. Mercy also. Imagine someone has got death penalty. We got the editorial yesterday. Death penalty or capital punishment. And we use words like mercy, lenience. That is a different context altogether. Now it is time for you guys. You have been responding from the start. That is highly appreciable, admirable, and adorable. Now testing your comprehension skill. Already, students have started. Do remember when you listen to me, you answer these questions. It is you have to appreciate yourself. Highly appreciable. What is the reason? A live session, you have listened. Now you're testing your listening skill and comprehension skill. Both are important skills. What are the main demands? Here you got to read the question carefully and you have to focus on keywords. It does not say what are the demands. It says what are the main demands of the farmers in the ongoing protest. Many students have answered B. Increased government subsidies, no. Legal guarantee of minimum support price, yes. Debt waiver, second one. Cancellation of international agreements, third one. Minimum pension of 5,000 to farmers and agriculture labor, very good. Answer is B. Which group is currently spearheading or leading the farmers' protests? And how does it differ from the group that led the earlier protest in 2021 2022? There are two dimensions. One, which group is leading the current protest? Second one, how does it differ from the group that led the earlier protest way back in 2021 2022? BJP led central government? No, no. Samyukta Kisan Morcha, SKM. It is a splinter group that split from the larger body that led the earlier protest? No. Original SKM, it has merged with the BJP? No. So what is the answer here? In fact, it is a splinter group that split from. Yes, answer is, I thought it is talking about the group that led earlier. No. Answer is B, SKM. And what is this SKM? It is a splinter group that split from the larger body. This larger body that led the earlier protest. Answer is B. You guys got it right. What has been the government's response to the farmers' protest? See here, farmers' protest. Farmers, plural noun ending in the letter S. Then we have to use the apostrophe after the letter S. What has been the government's response to the farmers' protest in terms of talks and negotiations? In terms of talks and negotiations, the government has met all the demands of the farmers? No. Talks have been initiated with Punjab farmers, but a legal guarantee of MSP seems unlikely, clearly mentioned in the passage, editorial. All explicit questions. What is a writer's perspective on the minimum support price MSP scheme in the editorial? A editorial's perspective. It is hailed as a flawless system without any mistake, ensuring equal benefits for all farmers. No. The author suggests the need for reform, highlighting the uneven impact on farmers in different regions. This seems to be right. MSP scheme is considered irrelevant. No. Recommends complete abolition. No. What is the answer again? B is the answer. Why does the editorial emphasize The need for a revamping of public support for farming. Why does the editorial emphasize what? A revamping of public support for farming. Flawless, impeccable. No one is flawless in this world. Impeccable. Question number 5, what is the answer? To promote market driven agriculture, due to the failure of farmers to adapt to modern practices, acknowledging disparities, differences in the impact of the existing policies, and encouraging diversification. Answer is C. If you have got all the 5 correct, you should be happy. That is highly appreciable. These are the words we got yesterday from yesterday's editorial. 14 words. Try to write the part of speech and the meaning, but meaning you don't have to write complete meaning. Write the keywords, that is enough. Brinkmanship, an important word. If one student responds, I will tick that word. All the 5 correct. Divya, good. Durga Rao, very good. Good, highly appreciable. This is the beginning. If you can answer within no time questions based on comprehension skill, that will help in the actual exam. You will feel comfortable to read the passage and answer the questions. Throw into dangerous situation. Naidu Paidi says that. Strategy, Anshu. Hesitation, intimidate, Divya says. Adilakshmi 4, that is also good. Tripura Sundari 5. Brinkmanship. It goes with politics. You want something. When you want something, you say, if you don't get it, you will do something dangerous. You will do something, and that will be dangerous. That is one of the meanings. Espionage, part of speech. This is a noun. This is also a noun. Simple. Spy, eavesdrop, bugging. Yes, Anu. Good. I see a lot of words are being, that is a good thing. Sparse, part of speech. Write the Anu 5 out of 5. Good. Write the part of speech. Anusha also all the 5 correct. Intimidating. In a way, you can use intimidating, but the context is something different. And it is something like you want something, you demand that. And when you don't get it, you threaten. There you can use the word intimidate. You say, if I don't get what I want, if I don't get what I want, I will do something dangerous. That is nothing but intimidating, threatening. Sparse means what? Scanty. Yes. Please write the part of speech. Part of speech is also important. Write the part of speech first, then you go to scanty adjective. Invoke. Invoke is a verb. Two different meanings. One meaning goes with religion, but the second meaning, based on yesterday's editorial, bring law into force or bring law into action. Make a particular law active. Pray to, that goes with a religious connotation. Uphold, a legal term, obviously it's a verb. Hold, held, held. Uphold, upheld, upheld. Means what? Support in a way. Stand for support. Very good. And Nagendrama says adjective, scanty, lack of, dearth of, sparse. Wonderful. I appreciate that. Anu also says scanty, meager, and tad, little, modicum, lack, dearth, insufficient, inadequate. Good, very good. Commute, two different meanings. One meaning, typical meaning, obviously it's a verb. Two, travel long distance for work every day. Commuters. And based on the editorial, change. Commute the death penalty to imprisonment. That means change. Part of speech verb. Counsel, counselor. Part of speech, noun. But counsel also noun. It can be a verb, it can be a noun, but here, based on the editorial, noun. What does it mean? lawyer, barrister, attorney, all these words. Substitute for what? Naidu, substitute for what? Which word? You mean to say commute, substitute. In a way, you're right. Question number six, commute. That's what you mean. Change, substitute. Delegate has a different meaning, Nagendrama. Delegate goes with the workplace. As a manager, you have to do 10 things. But as an individual, you can do only 5 things. What do you do that time? You delegate the work to your subordinates. That's a different meaning, different context. I got it, Naidu. I could make out. And attribute, you have to remember tomorrow you get success. You have to say, I attribute my success to my parents. Part of speech, verb. You have to wait eagerly for that statement. To say that, I hope you guys are waiting for that day. Pursue, chase, chase your dreams, chase your goals. Pursue, pursue goes with, it's a verb. Pursue goes with dreams, goals, studies, all these. Continue, proceed. You could write spar to indicate the cause of. Yes, Naidu Paidi. Literal meaning you have written. Give the credit to someone. Attribute, give the credit to someone. Follow, chase, stalk. Ah, that's a good word, Anu. I appreciate that. Spar, part of speech, verb. Spar means what? Public sparring, used in the editorial. Yes, you're waiting. Anu says, I'm sure a lot of students are waiting for that day. Spar, part of speech verb, argue. Eh, Here, when you write, it is not that easy, but if you are really active, back of the mind, you have to think spar. You have written part of speech verb, argue. You have to think of the combination used in the editorial. Public sparring, word combinations, word usage, word forms, very important. And rhetoric, we got so many times, our students on this platform, they have the meaning at the fingertips, I'm sure. Art of writing or speaking to persuade, it goes with public speaking. Yes, sir, waiting. Who is that? Usha, one more student has responded, and heft, hefty adjective, heft noun, rhetoric noun, and this also noun. What does it mean? Weight or influence, more than weight, influence. You mean to say eloquence? I think you wanted to write the word eloquence. That is also yes. Influence is the right word. Sway also you can say. Who is that? Divya. But Divya, sway has two different meanings. One meaning to move this side and that side. Imagine there's a strong wind at the time of a storm. The branches of a tree sway. That means move this side and that side. That is one meaning. But as you said, sway also means influence. Interlocutor, we have got for the first time. What does it mean? A person who participates in dialogue or negotiations, someone like a mediator, envoy, delegate, interlocutor. Good. What is the last word? Aftermath. Aftermath goes with a negative incident. After a particular negative incident, the consequences, the aftermath of the clash, the aftermath of COVID. You can say that also. The negative impact. Delegate has many meanings. One meaning, we have received the international delegates. Imagine there's a conference and we have invited international delegates. That's a different meaning. At the workplace, delegate the work to the subordinate, a different meaning. And you have to know the context, that is very important. Aftermath, consequence, polymath. Why polymath here? Related word. Polymath, highbrow, intellectual, walking encyclopedia, genius, scholar, that is one group. Knowledgeable person. A person has a lot of knowledge, can talk on any topic, anywhere, anytime with anyone. Then we say, you're missing, I know, Varaprasad. I said I'm working on something very big, a holistic approach. Very soon, matter of 1 or 2 days, wait, please wait. I'm going to make you guys extremely happy, something unimaginable. Beyond that, I don't want to say anything. You'll get exam topics, you'll get so many things, and you don't have to pay for any of those things. Just wait for 1 or 2 days. It takes time. As I said, I'm working on something very big. I have to check my time whether I can do it or not. Knowledge, expertise, for me, it is not an issue, not a problem. But my problem is the time factor. I teach online, I teach offline, and managing offline classes, online classes, not that easy. I have to spend a lot of time. That is only limitation I have as of now. Once I sort out that, it is going to be something like you will get benefited to a great extent from all angles related to English language from the exam point of view. That's all for today. Thanks for being with me till the fag end of the session. I hope you guys have got enriched. Do remember to subscribe and share. I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much.